Kidney damage can build long before anything feels wrong, and many of the habits behind it look completely ordinary. Your kidneys filter about 200 liters of fluid from the blood every day through a network of vessels so fine that early damage stays completely silent. One of the biggest drivers is high blood pressure. Most people think of high blood pressure as a heart problem, but the kidneys take that strain too. When pressure stays elevated, even mildly, it keeps pressing against those delicate filters. Over time, that constant pressure leaves scars. The real problem is the feedback loop. Once the kidneys are damaged, they struggle to regulate fluid and salt, which pushes blood pressure even higher. It becomes a cycle that can run quietly for years while you still feel fine. This is why kidney disease is often found on a routine blood test. Your body was adapting right up until it couldn't, but pressure is only part of the story. High blood sugar damages those same filters in a completely different way. This is why diabetes is a leading cause of kidney failure worldwide. Too much glucose in the blood changes the environment those filters have to work in. Early on, the kidneys actually overwork. They filter too much. That sounds efficient, but it isn't. The extra workload damages the barrier that keeps important proteins inside your bloodstream. Once that barrier gets leaky, a protein called albumin starts showing up in the urine. That's one of the earliest signs of kidney strain, and again, you won't feel it. When doctors say kidney damage is silent, this is what they mean. The warning system most people rely on won't alert you. Blood pressure and blood sugar are familiar risks, but another common risk is sitting in almost every medicine cabinet. Painkillers like ibuprofen and naproxen are useful drugs, but they aren't harmless in every context. Your kidneys rely on specific chemical signals to keep blood flow stable, especially under stress. NSAIDs can block part of that protective system. For a healthy, well-hydrated person, taking them occasionally, the risk is low. But add dehydration, older age, high blood pressure, diabetes, or existing kidney issues, and the picture changes fast. Now, the kidneys are being asked to work with less supportive blood flow. That can trigger acute kidney injury, a sudden drop in function. Even when that injury seems to heal, those episodes matter. They're linked to a higher long-term risk of chronic kidney disease. The quiet damage here isn't one pill ruining your kidneys. It's repeated use during dehydration, illness, or existing kidney strain, adding up over time. Dehydration is a kidney stressor on its own, and it can make the painkiller risk worse. Not minor dehydration, where you miss a daily water target, but real dehydration, where the kidneys keep coming up short on blood flow. A hard workout, a long day in the heat, a stomach bug, a night of heavy drinking. Add heavy sweating or a habit of reaching for painkillers when you're already dehydrated, and any of those can push blood flow low enough to matter. When blood volume drops, the kidneys simply get less blood flow. If that happens hard enough or often enough, the injury stops being trivial. Evidence suggests recurrent dehydration can become a kidney stressor when it repeatedly pushes blood flow too low. That's very different from telling everyone to force down enormous amounts of water. The goal isn't massive volume, it's avoiding repeated shortfalls, and then there's the daily pattern that ties so much of this together. A diet built around ultra-processed food and sugary drinks brings a heavy load of sodium, fast-absorbing sugar, and extra calories. That combination raises blood pressure, worsens insulin resistance, and makes protein leakage more likely over time. Sugary drinks are especially tough on this system. They add a large glucose load without making you feel full. Over time, that drives the blood sugar pathways that raise kidney risk, and a high-sodium diet keeps blood pressure running high. These aren't separate threats. They converge on the same mechanisms: chronic pressure and metabolic strain. Someone with borderline high blood pressure, rising blood sugar, frequent headaches treated with ibuprofen, a high-sodium diet, and low fluid intake might look completely fine from the outside, but their kidneys are living in that chemistry all day long. Quiet kidney damage isn't exotic, it's ordinary. It happens through common routines that feel harmless in the moment because they don't hurt. The danger isn't that your kidneys will fail overnight. The danger is that they compensate so well, you assume everything is fine, so don't wait for symptoms. If any of these patterns describe your life, high blood pressure, rising blood sugar, regular painkiller use, poor hydration, or a diet heavy in processed food, that's worth acting on now, not later. Kidney problems are usually found through two routine checks: how well they filter and whether protein is leaking into the urine. That's where the silence ends. Not when your kidneys finally complain, but when you check the dashboard before they have to tell you.